Hey everyone, welcome back. You know we love to go deep on the latest and greatest in restoration, and today's deep dive is no exception. We're diving headfirst into, well, staying ahead of the curve, which I know is huge for you all. Our source of wisdom today, a really thought-provoking article from CARSI. That's the Cleaning and Restoration Science Institute for anyone just starting out. They're based in Australia, but honestly, their insights are spot on for anyone, anywhere tackling this field. And before we get started, just a heads up, this isn't about pushing their courses or anything.
Right. This deep dive is about those universal truths, those golden nuggets that apply whether you're in the humidity of Houston or facing a deep freeze disaster in Duluth.
Exactly. So the heart of this CARSI article, they make a really interesting point, the restoration industry. It's like that friend, the one, always has the newest phone, the latest gadget. Things are constantly evolving. New tech, new regs, even how we think about the environment.
It's true. The pace of change in this industry can be, well, daunting, to say the least.
For sure. And the article even asks, like, imagine thinking you knew it all in this line of work.
Yeah.
Which, let's face it, with all the spills, the disasters, the unexpected stuff we see, who could?
And that's precisely why continuing education, keeping that knowledge base fresh, is absolutely essential.
It's like you wouldn't want a surgeon who's still using, okay, leeches, right? Medicine's come a long way.
Exactly. Think about it. Medical imaging, minimally invasive techniques, restorations on a similar path.
So keeping those skills sharp, it's not just about, like, bragging rights at the next industry meetup.
Right. It's about real benefits.
This CARSI article, they lay out a bunch adapting faster, better skills.
Not to mention a nice boost for your career, which never hurts.
Absolutely. But there's one they highlight, I think it's key, especially in our field, increased efficiency.
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Right. Time is money in restoration, so anything that makes you faster, smoother,
Ah.
that's huge.
It's not just about having the shiniest new moisture meter. It's about understanding the why behind it. That's where true efficiency comes in.
Okay, so continuing ed, it's important. Got it.
Mm.
But what does that actually look like? Are we talking like back to school, textbooks, all that? This is where the CARSI article got really interesting. They list a few training providers, and don't worry, this isn't an ad for them.
Right, just examples to illustrate the point.
Yeah, but it's the types of courses that caught my eye. They talk about ethical dilemmas for restorers. And honestly, who doesn't love a good ethical dilemma, right? Especially when you're dealing with people in tough situations. Then there's this whole category on inspiring innovation in restoration, which honestly sounds a little buzzwordy even for me. Like, what does that even mean in our world, self-drying drywall?
Well, maybe not self-drying drywall, at least not yet. But it's more about the mindset, always looking for a better way to do things. It could be new approaches to mold, making it more effective but less disruptive.
Less tearing down walls, always a plus.
Exactly. Or using, 3D modeling to map out those rebuilds. Super precise.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Or even something as simple, but honestly just as important, better communication with homeowners. Because let's be real, that's a stressful time. And clear communication. It's huge.
It's like innovation doesn't always have to be this big, flashy thing. Sometimes it's the small stuff that makes a world of difference.
Exactly. And the fact that there are courses on this, on being more innovative in restoration, it shows you this field, it never sits still.
And speaking of staying connected, this CARSI article, they mentioned another type of course I thought was interesting, courses for insurance folks. And I'm sure some people are thinking, what's insurance got to do with restoration?
But it's all connected, right? I mean, think about it. Restoration project, it often starts with an insurance claim.
Right. The homeowner calls their insurance, adjuster comes out.
Mm.
It's like the first step.
Exactly. But what if, and this happens, what if the adjuster's not totally up on the latest restoration techniques?
Or the homeowner. They don't fully get their own coverage.
It can be a mess. Delays, arguments, everyone's frustrated.
Everyone talking, but nobody understanding each other.
Exactly. So these joint training things, they're huge. Get the restorer, the insurance pro on the same page, same language. Everyone wins.
Especially the homeowner. At the end of the day, it's their life being put back together.
Yeah, absolutely. In this CARSI article, even though it's just a glimpse, it shows you restorations, this whole ecosystem.
Not just, I'm here to rip out wet carpet, like some people might think.
Yeah, no, it's complex. It's always changing. And that's what makes it cool,
Yeah, there's always something new to learn, new problems to solve. So, for our listeners out there juggling it all, what's the key thing you want them to remember from all this?
Knowledge is power, right? But it's not enough to just have it. You got to keep feeding it, keep it growing, whether it's the newest drying tech, the ins and outs of insurance, or just being open to new ways of doing things. That's what makes you stand out in this field.
It's not just about staying afloat. It's about diving deeper, becoming more valuable every step of the way. It's like, you ever hear that saying, sharpen the saw? You can keep using a dull one, but why? Take the time, get that edge back, then you're golden.
And in our world, that sharpening, it's all about the learning, right? New skills, fresh perspectives.
Which got me thinking, this CARSI article, it's all about the individual leveling up. Which, yeah, super important. But we're not in this alone, are we? What about the companies? Don't they have a role in all this?
Huge role. And honestly, more and more restoration companies are realizing this it's about building a culture of learning.
Not just, hey, go take a course if you feel like it, but like, it's expected. Part of how you grow.
Exactly. Build it into the system. Maybe
Yeah.
there's dedicated time for professional development.
Tuition reimbursement even. I bet that would get people's attention.
Right. Or bring in the experts, do some in-house training, get everyone on the same page.
I like that. Some companies, I've even heard, they're linking this stuff to performance reviews, even promotions.
Makes sense, right? Shows you're serious about it. It's not just what you knew on day one, it's about always getting better.
Win-win then. Employee feels valued, company's got a top-notch team. So for anyone listening right now, maybe thinking, okay, sounds great, but where do I start? What's step one on this whole continuous learning journey?
Honestly, start small. What's one thing you'd like to get better at? New equipment, a specific technique.
Or maybe just brush up on the stuff you're already doing, but like learn the why behind it, do it even better.
Exactly. Then look around, online courses, conferences, maybe find a mentor, someone who's been there. There are tons of options out there.
More than people realize, probably. And a lot of it's way more affordable than you'd think.
It's all about taking that first step. Then you realize, hey, this isn't so bad. I can do this.
And that's the key, right? Never stop learning, never stop growing. Big thanks to CARSI for getting us thinking with our article. And for everyone listening, remember in restoration, knowledge is power. Keep those minds sharp, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.